Did you know you can get sponsored for a permanent visa straight away, no temporary visa, through the 186 permanent direct entry stream? I'm going to give you a very brief overview about the steps. So the skill assessment, nomination, and then visa application. Once it's approved, you're a permanent resident of Australia. So look, first up, you need to have a skill assessment in a relevant occupation. Okay, now each occupation has a different type of skill assessor. So carpenters go through Trade Recognition Australia, nurses through ANMAC, and they'll basically look at your relevant education and your work experience to make sure it meets the Australian standards. You need to have the skill assessment before you can lodge the visa. The next step, or step 2, is the nomination. And basically in the nomination, this is done by the company, okay? So in order for the nomination to be approved, your occupation must be on the core skills list. The employer needs to show that there is a genuine need to hire you. The salary you earn must meet the Australian market salary and needs to be a minimum of 76,515 plus super. You also need to be employed on a full-time contract or offered a full-time contract. And then basically you need to show that the salary that you're earning is comparable to what another Australian would be paid if they'd had your experience and your education, just to make sure the salary offered is not undercutting Australian workers. One thing that's not on here as well, your company needs to show they have the financial capacity to employ. So financially, they can afford to have you on the books. Finally, the visa application, okay? So you need to have a skill assessment, you need to have competent English, you need to have an occupation that's on the core skills list, and you need to have 3 years of full-time work experience at the relevant skill level. So generally speaking, the relevant skill level means after you graduated. So if I studied a course, I studied architecture, got my bachelor, and started working as an architect, I could only claim work experience from whence I graduated, 3 years full-time. So you need all the pay evidence to back this up. And cost-wise, look, the visa application is $4,910 for the main applicant. The training levy and nomination is about $3,540 or $5,540 for the company, okay? It depends on the turnover of the company, how much they pay. And the skill assessment, well, really depends on the type of skill assessment, from as low as $500 all the way up to several $1,000s for different types of occupations.